We stripped down this Charger 500 and you wouldn't believe what we found.
So we were just working on the Charger 500 here, trying to disassemble the rear end fascia, take out the lights, and we were looking in the trunk, and I happened to find this in the bottom corner of the trunk. As you can see, that is a 357 Magnum round that we found in the bottom of the trunk. It was found just over here. You see down here in this deep corner over here, it was sitting in there, and I saw the nose peeking out, and I said, hey, what's that? And pulled it out, and it ended up being a bullet. The relics you find in this car. I mean, we have a Ford Mustang bullet in the shop, but now we have an actual bullet. So that's pretty cool.
And the 357 wasn't the only ammunition on board this Charger. As our cameraman got a close-up of the corner of the trunk, he fished this out of the same place as the Magnum bullet.
You won't believe what we found.
What? More bullets.
A shotgun shell, Nick.
Eugene, if you're watching, I see some bullets in your car. You know what? I'm going to keep this for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this for Eugene.
George actually
And they're
found
not,
this one.
oh my God, they're not even fired.
No, they're still
Look at
alive.
that. This is something, eh? Crazy. Well, there you go, Eugene. You got some firearms here, or some sort of a bullet, or should I say? Anyways, you know what? Being in the military, I'm not surprised.
12 gauge.
12 gauge, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
it's a real bullet.
That's
yeah.
not bird shot. That's
No, this is
taking
real.
down a deer. That one.
It sure is something.
He's lucky we found those before I went into the acid tank. Those would have gone off in the acid tank.
You think so?
Oh yeah, the gunpowder with the acid. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Keep looking for more.
Yeah.
Search the car real good. Keep checking in case we find some more. Check in the trunk area. Check under the carpet. Check everywhere. There you have it. Welcome to Nick's Garage, and I'm Nick. And I've got this Charger 500 that we're stripping down to send it to a chemical dipping. So we've already started doing a few things on it. We've removed the front grille assembly and also the front header panel and the back glass. So now we got to start removing gas tanks, suspension, steering, and whatever. So we're gonna have to go through a few details with you guys right now. I just want to show you. This is a Charger 500, which is a rare piece. They were sent to Creative Industries, which is in Detroit, that was working outside of Chrysler. Here's an example. Here's the headlamp bezel in the front. Okay, if you take a good look on this side, it's a double decker or whatever you want to call it. The recessed headlights used to be right here on a 69 Charger when they had the hideaway headlights. But when it turned into a 500, their grille was flush, which came from a Dodge Coronet 69, which was a flush grille. And then they had to put another bezel here further out to be flush with the grille. You know, it's unusual. You know, you figure when you build a race car, you want to go lighter. But in this case, they left the buckets of the original grille were recessed further into the grille. They left the pieces over, and they welded the new buckets for the headlights right over them. So as we took it apart, you could see that this is double on headlights. In other words, I'm very surprised to see this after I took it out. But then again, that's what Creative Industries did. They had to get the cars going, they had to do something, and this is what they created. I never knew that they worked like this on a Charger 500. And the Daytona is completely different. Of course, they had the nose with the hideaway headlights. But this is the Charger 500, 69. And this is how it is behind the grill, right here. What they did is they had the Charger 69 RT, I believe. They were ready cars shipped to Creative Industries as a complete car. And then they started going removing pieces to convert it into a Charger 500 or a Daytona. And here's one of them here. It's a matching number. It belongs to Eugene from Texas. We've got his car here, and I'm going to slowly take apart more pieces off because we got to strip it down and send it out to chemical dipping. And it's a rust-free car. It's very clean, so we want to have it super clean before we do a full restoration. It's a rare car. There were just under 400 units made. So we started making a few pieces off. We've taken out the engine pass and the transmission. And now we're going to go further on, removing fenders, suspension, steering, gas tank, and whatever it is underneath the car. So I got to strip it down because we're going to dip as many pieces for chemical dipping. For example, the inner shields, the inner fenders, the shields, like see this? It's a solid piece full of undercoating. It's a little bit rusted, only surface. We're going to get those dipped. The fenders, grill support, we're going to send this out for dipping. I've got a few other pieces. We're going to have the doors dipped, we're going to have the fenders dipped, and every other piece, brackets, whatever I can. That's sheet metal that belongs to this car. I'm going to save as much as metal as I can. So what I'm going to do is send them out, get them dipped, come back clean, and have them painted and put it onto the car. We had the engine removed and the transmission, so and then the differential still on the car. So we want to make sure that the car doesn't tilt over on the lift. We had to add some weight in the front, so I put these two wheels in for temporarily. So in other words, we're going to leave them here for now. We're going to start going to the back, removing a few pieces like the leaf springs are heavy, the differential, there's a rear bumper. So slowly but surely, we're going to dismantle the car and at the same time keep it balanced that we don't lose the counterbalance of the car and fall off the lift. We had the master cylinder removed, wiper motor, harness, windshield washer container, steering column. We had the front shocks removed, the steering column is out, and brake lines, we had the fuel lines removed, and the radiator and the battery tray. So now we're going to take out all the suspension, the torsion bars, the K-frame, spindles, wheels, rear springs, rear differential, and of course later on the bumper. We got the two rear wheels here. We have them inside the car just to put the weight in the center of the car. So we're also going to remove the insulation pad on the dash. We've had the cluster removed with Robert a few weeks ago, so we have to go through details on that. We had the seats removed, the back seat removed. Like I said, we're going to have to strip it down bare metal to send it out for dipping. And then this is an automatic car on the floor. We had the console removed. We're going to have to get it restored. It's an automatic car. We had the cluster also removed earlier. We had to get it restored, of course. It's going to be a lot of cleaning up to do, all these little details. You know, there's a lot of pieces to a car. You got the heater box, you got the steering column, you got the wiring, you got the cluster, you got the dash. There's a lot of pieces. You got the defrost, the vents, insulation pads. But slowly but surely, we're going to have to remove everything, which we did already, get it going, because we have to start restoring these pieces slowly over the winter time, so we're going to have it ready for next year. And basically, you know, as I've been removing pieces from this car, I have no rust holes whatsoever. It's been kept clean in dry environment. Also, when Eugene kept it in storage, it was a humidity-free locations, probably in California, which he did have it. That's where we picked it up from. And from what we have here to dip it, it's a solid car and it looks good to do a good restoration on it. And another unique thing, not just the grille on the Charger 500, is the back window. All Chargers came with the back window right here, in this area right here. All 69 Chargers, they were all in this area. So when it was converted to a Charger 500, they brought it out to be more like aerodynamic, and they brought it out here. So in other words, you see they filled in the buttress, they put a wing on the outside to continue the glass to make it a Charger 500.
Last night, with the help of a wire guitar string, Nick and the guys carefully took the very rare back glass out of the Charger 500. Roger from Showtime Muscle Cars was on hand to help Nick and Vasily pull out the rear glass. Once the Charger has been stripped and dipped, he's going to do the bodywork and paint.
And someone made a comment if there was any broken glass here underneath the package tray. Well, this is what we have. We took out the package tray, we had the glass removed, and this is what we have. So there is no broken glass. So somebody made a comment that they broke the glass to do the car modification. Well, in this case, there's no broken glass, so we know that the back window was here. You can see there's the caulking, or that they call when the glass was on. They removed it. They put this wing here to convert it to a 500 for NASCAR reasons. And imagine that, eh? Here's the butchers that's originally from the Charger. And we can see that they put a special glass in the back. And not only that, when you put a longer glass in the back, the trunk has to be shortened. You know, the original trunk was something like this, but maybe another 8-9 inches longer. And by doing this, they also have to modify the hinges. They have to bring the hinges further down. Look at this hinge work they did. Check it out. They brought it back about 8, 9, 10 inches. So there's a modification here also to bring the trunk further back and with a bigger finish panel in the back. So there was all kinds of work involved to do this job. So Chrysler built this car. They were running cars, and then they had to do the conversion of the front grille and the back glass. And they had to do close to, close to 500 cars. But again, they only made under 400 units like this. And then again, you had 500 Daytonas. Again, they went through the same process. Except for Daytona, they added the big wing in the back. But here, we have a Charger 500, 69. So there you have it. This is the Charger 500. It's a very unique car, short trunk. A lot of work was involved with Creative Industries. You know, that's a lot of cars they're doing in 1 year, a modification of that. At the same time, they were doing the Daytona Chargers also. So they must have had a big team to do this. Imagine that, they have to repaint the car, do all this kind of work. That's a lot of work that went to Creative Industries for Chrysler. And for what? For NASCAR racing high-speed aerodynamics. And the slogan was, win on Sunday and sell on Monday. You know, I have to say something because I know a lot of people know me as a Mopar guy. I grew up with Mopars, and you know, Creative Industries worked on these kind of cars, the Super Parades, Daytonas, the 500s, and whatever. And then years and years later, they came up with the Hellcat, supercharged. Over 700 horsepower on a street car. Special suspension, special transmission, all heavy-duty package. And you know what? I have to give it to Chrysler. They always come up with something special. And you know, the Hellcat, when they built the Hellcat, it was all built under Chrysler roof. So Chrysler built the car 100%. At that time, there was nothing given out for the Creative Industries. But they did make a brand new Challenger convertible. But I don't know who did the job, but it wasn't Chrysler. The car was a finished product. They sent them out, cut the roof, made them into convertibles. I don't know how many units, but that is the same story like Creative Industries on these cars. Now, you know what? If somebody had an RT Charger and they wanted to convert it to a Daytona, which I'm sure some people have, this is what they have to go through. The same situation what Creative Industries did. If you guys wanted to do a Charger 500 or a Charger Daytona, this is what you have to go through. Get a longer package tray, weld in a cover on the outside, take out the glass from here, get a bigger glass, put it like this, just the way this is, because this is a true blue Charger 500. And I've got a few pieces here that I want to send out to the dipping. At the same time, when they dip the car, I want to give the front valance, the hinge assemblies, the filler tube for the gas tank, the front brace for the bumper, the battery tray. I want to get them all dipped at the same time with the car because I want every piece to come in looking good and new. And all they have to do after that is maybe needing some sanding and painting. So I try to keep as many original pieces to this genuine 500 Charger. And these are the front bumper brackets from the Charger. I've trying to locate another pair because they're kind of bent up when Eugene used to tow it with a tow bar in the front, and he had a little accident with it that banged into it and bent a few of the brackets with the bumper. So in the meantime, these are not getting dipped. I'm looking for another pair. Well, there's a lot of pieces. I'm gonna have to start making a big list what I'm looking for. I've already located a front grille. I've been looking for this right now with a few people out outsourced looking for pieces for me. I'm finding a lot of little reproduction stuff here and there. So I'm going through it slowly. And now I've called my friend Stefan to come in and start restoring the heater box, the steering column, and also the wiper motor. And you know, I know if I get stuck, if I'm looking for a particular item for Charger 500 or even information or a certain part, I know I can have good help from you viewers. All I have to do is make a comment, ask for it, and I've always had help. Just like my Challenger Kawasaki, I ask for a certain item and everybody's willing to help me. So stand by, you guys. If I have anything to need for this car, I'll make a comment and I'll let you guys know, and thank you. And that's what you call a car guy teamwork. So right now, as of today, I want to start removing the front suspension, rear suspension, gas tank, and the fenders. So we got to get started on it because, like I said, time is running short and I got to get going on it to finish this car for next year. We've cracked a lot of the bolts and nuts loose so we can get started going. So now we're just gonna start dropping every piece one by one. Go ahead, Devin, get going. Let's go. This is very common in the 1970s. Every muscle car had air shocks in the back. For what reason, I don't know. I've never installed air shocks in any of my cars, but see this? Max Air from Gabriel. Not original, of course. This was a thing they used to do back in the 70s. Yeah. You know, everybody did their own thing. Used to jack up the cars, put shackles, put air shocks in the back, put ladder bars. You know, painted differentials, fancy colors. You know, everybody had their own taste. We've taken off the filler neck, so now we're just gonna drop the tank. And look at that. There's no fuel in here. It's all dried up. 45 years in storage. We're going to replace the sanding unit and also the filler neck O-ring. And this is the reason why, after so many years, what happens to rubber? It just rots. This is sealed between the filler neck and the gas tank. And with such a bad smell with rotten fuel, and that is the reason why I left the tank outside. It really stinks the garage up, let me tell you. So let's leave it outside. And since we're outside, I want to show you the original H-pipe that came with the car, right here. These mufflers were added on after, but the pipe itself attached to the headers, okay, the headers were not original, but the centerpiece, the H-pipe, is all factory. Look what's coming out. Look at that. Look at that. Look what's coming out. Acorns, eh? Look at that. 45 years. And this is a factory H-pipe. Am I going to keep it? I don't think so. We're going to get everything all brand new. You know, it's very rare to see an original H-pipe that came with the car back in '69. He had the mufflers replaced. He had the headers cut, installed in the front. He had the cut pipes. But the pipe itself here, I believe it's a 1969 genuine piece. Okay, let's go back to stripping down the car. Usually when I do a full restoration, I replace all tie rods, inner tie rods, the sleeves, pitman arm, idler arm. But I'm gonna look at them first, you know, because if the pieces are good, I'm gonna still reuse them. And as we can see here, this is a 4-drum brake. Now if Eugene wants to go to a disc brake, I'm gonna ask him, and then we're gonna convert it to disc brakes if he wishes. After all, he's putting up the power on the engine. He wants to add a few more horses, so maybe he wants better handling, or should I say, better stopping. So for that reason, I'm gonna ask him if he wants to convert to disc brakes in the front. When it comes to suspension, fuel lines, brake lines, we had them removed earlier. We stayed late last night trying to remove some of the pieces. I've loosened up a lot of bolts with Devin and Vasily. So right now, I'm just gonna drop the pieces one by one and see whether we need to have chemical dipped or sandblasting or painted or powder coated or whatever. Okay? There we go. Here we got the front sway bar. You want to take all the bolts, put them all back on loose, please, Devin? Okay, now we gotta see, we take off some weight in the front, we wanna take some weight off in the back, we wanna make sure the car is balanced. We don't wanna drop it. You know what, you gotta be very careful. I've never seen it happen. I don't wanna see it happen, but you know when you start dismantling a car, you know, one end to the other is much heavier, and then the one from front to back or whatever. So as we're doing it here together, we wanna make sure it stays balanced so we don't lose the car, drop it off the lift.
Nick has always got safety in mind when he's working around these rare old cars. The last thing he wants is for anyone to get hurt, or for any of these rare pieces to get damaged in the process. Like a good doctor, Nick has to be certain that he does no harm as he restores his patient.
I remember the day we had to send a transportation company to pick this car up that was in storage for many years in California. And we had to send someone to put air in the tires. But eventually when they started putting air in all the tires, they were so badly cracked, the tires, they wouldn't hold the air. So we had another company sent over there and had on scene replace all the 4 tires. Pick it up, take off the wheel, replace the tire, put it back on the car. And of course you have to use a jack to pick it up in a storage location. But eventually we found a dent on the floor pan that we knew that the original owner did not do. And I'm sure it was one of those guys who did the tire changes. Take a good look here. You can see a nice clean scratch right there. You see it? It's been pushed in about 3 inches. If you look on the other side, it's perfectly flat. So there you have it. So we do have a dent on the floor pan, which eventually was done by the guy who did the tire changes. But anyways, you can see how solid this car was. It made a dent. The jack did not go through the floor pan, just made a dent. Thank God it's not rusty. We're gonna bang it out, make it straight again, as good as new. He should have used the jack right here on the frame rail instead of the floor pan. But anyways, some people don't know what they're doing. I don't know what to say, but it doesn't matter. We'll fix it. Look, no metal replacement, just bang it out, make it straight. And now we're gonna have to remove the torsion bars on the car. And you know when they're put in, they're very tight, snug in. And you need a special tool. You squeeze it on the torsion bar, then you take a hammer and you bang them out. And by the way, when I used to work on Mopars back home, back in the back alley, I never knew there was such a tool. And one of the first tools I bought from Chrysler, right from Chrysler Corporation through a dealership, was a torsion bar remover, which is right here. So Devin's gonna put it on a torsion bar and bang it out, and stay tuned, see how it works. There you go, it's like a sandwich. You squeeze it in, tighten the bolts, take a hammer and bang it backwards to take it out of a slot that's in the lower control arm. I remember when I used to work in the alley, I used to put 3-4 vice grips and hammer them out, and I still had a hard time until I went to Chrysler and asked the guys at the dealership, how do you remove a torsion bar from a vehicle? And then they told me there's a special tool. So they gave me the number, I ordered it from Chrysler, and here it is. 45 years later and I still have it. And if you want to see the abuse work on it, or should I say the use on it, take a good look over here. This is where you hammer it to knock out the torsion bar, right here. So watch how we do it. There's a little snap ring that goes in here. We had it removed, and now for that reason, as a safety lock, so the torsion bar doesn't come out. And right now, we're gonna pull it out. Bring it back in is lowering the control arm and sliding it in, no problem. And then slightly tapping it in place. Here we go, now we're gonna knock it out. All we need is a hammer and push it out. And won't need much because it's already looks pretty clean. Keep going, keep going. There you go. Now we remove the tool and the torsion bar is gonna come out straight from the back. See, these cars don't have a coil spring, they have a torsion bar suspension. All Chryslers have torsion bar suspension. Okay, I'm gonna pull it out now, Devin. Here we go, watch this. And these are heavy duty torsion bars, Hemi and 440. And they're numbered left and right, so you can't go wrong when you put them back on. There we go, we got one torsion bar there, and now we are removing the one on the driver's side. And by the way, the thicker the torsion bar, the stronger, the tougher the suspension is, or should I say the stiffer the ride. And now we're gonna remove this side. I have no idea what I paid for it. Whoa, there it is. Sometimes they come out easy, sometimes they don't come out easy at all. Now we're gonna start removing some weight in the back. We gotta be very careful how we're gonna balance out the car. Well, you know what? A lot of people are saying like torsion bars are good for better handling cars, just like the Porsches. All Porsches have torsion bars. In my opinion, the torsion bar is a great suspension. I believe the torsion bar is a good idea. Coil springs work also, but I think in my reason for better cornering and all that, the torsion bar is a better design. But then again, you come up with new technology year after year. But I know in that era, the torsion bar was a great piece of suspension. Check out the rubber when it ages. It cracks up. Check that out, eh? This is original rubber on the stabilizer link. And by the way, when you take out the torsion bars, you gotta loosen the tension on the torsion bar by loosening this lower bolt underneath the lower control arm. You slack this, then you pull out the torsion bar. Let's take these off. Stud rods. These are the front strut rods. We're going to use the same ones again. They're in good shape. The only reason they don't rust away, but what happens is sometimes you get bent in an accident or something. But this one looks pretty good. Okay. I'm going to put on new rubbers. Every usable piece of the front suspension is going to be replaced. We're going to take off the drum and the lower control arm one piece, okay? Now you can pull it out. I'm going to see if I can hold this. Okay. Devin, put it right there. There it is. We're going to dismantle it after. Lower control arm bushing, stabilizer link, ball joint, spindle, bearings, drum, brake hose. We're going to dismantle it later on. Right now, I just want to take the parts off the car so I can get ready for chemical dipping. Here's the camber bolts for the front upper control arm. Look at that, they look pretty clean, eh? They look like brand new. Look at that. This is to adjust the caster on the alignment on the front end. Check out the frame rails, eh? Solid car, check it out. Now this car deserves to be restored. Look at it. Solid car, no dents, no rust, no nothing. No corrosion, nothing whatsoever. Okay, here's the upper control arm. Look how much dirt is accumulated over the years. Here's the upper ball joint, upper control arm bushings. Ball joints are going to be replaced. Upper control arm bushings are replaced. And then I'm going to send this upper control arm for dipping. It's going to come back brand new. It's a solid piece. Doesn't look like it's damaged. It looks perfectly good to reuse it again. Okay, we can see that the front end is getting lighter. So we're going to remove some weight from the back. So we're going to start removing the differential housing. We have it on the jack to hold some weight up. So let's start removing the rear end. I've heard stories that people have dropped cars off the car lift. So that's a story I don't want to tell people if we drop a car on the lift. That's a big no-no. I don't want to have the same issue. I just want to be more careful, take my time. And that is the reason why we loosened everything in the first place. And now slowly but slowly and surely we're going to remove one piece at a time to keep the car balanced on the lift. Look at that. That's called sound deadening. It's like a thick rubberized undercoating, which on my car I did not apply because I'm not going to drive it in the winter. And of course, I'm going to ask Eugene if he wants us to reapply it back on. It will be his option. And of course, before we do the underbelly, when we paint it, like my Kawasaki Challenger, I painted the whole bottom white. That's what I preferred. You know, I've looked into the B-bodies and people, some of them were telling me that the whole underbelly is painted black. Some are gray with the overspray of yellow paint or whatever the color of the car was. But I'm not so sure. I'm going to look at this twice before I send it out for dipping. Want to make sure I do it correct the way it came from the factory. Oh, check this out. Look at that, eh? They're all over the car. Check this out. Watch, it disintegrates like dust. Watch this. Look at that. Look at that, all over the car. Anyways, all that's going to get cleaned up. Vasily, we need your muscles, Ella. Okay, we need Vasily's muscles here to remove the rear end. We're removing massive weight in the back. Just want to make sure that the front end doesn't come down. I'm just going to put this for security. We're going to remove the rear end. Here we go. Okay, we're ready to take it off. Ready? Let's go. And then we're gonna turn it, right?
That's right.
Okay, go ahead.
Go higher, go.
Go. You're gonna go,
Pass
you're
the
gonna,
drum, pass the drum.
okay, it's enough. Now, Vasily, you're gonna go your way? Then bring it down, or you wanna go this way?
No, we gotta go this way.
Okay, hold on. Okay, you got it?
That's it, I got it.
Okay, bring it out. Bring it out. Bring it out. Slowly. Watch out.
Just drop it.
Okay, drop it slowly, Vasily. I'll hold it. You're on that side. Drop it. Okay, and now let's put it on the buggy. Okay, just drop it. There you go. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay, so now we're gonna remove the rear leaf springs. No tools required because we used to know the bolts earlier. So now we're just gonna drop every piece one by one. Okay? Okay, Devin, while you do this, I'll do this side. You know, there's a lot of bolts that put together the whole car. And you know what? There's a lot of pieces we're going to reuse if we can. Okay, push it up on there. Push it up. Okay, give me a sec. These are genuine nuts and bolts. Look at that, you guys. This is all genuine. There you go. You got it. Let it swing back. That's it. And I always put everything back like this, so I don't want to lose anything. There you go. Look at that, eh? You know, a lot of these bolts came off without the torch because the metal in those years, when you used to build cars, was made out of a better quality. Not like today's cars. A 10-year-old car today, you need a torch to remove every bolt and nut. Because every bolt nut is so cheap, they rust so easy with the winter conditions we got up here. And they use recycled metal. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's really cheap. Look at that. 1969 genuine metal and it's solid gold. Look at that, solid gold, man. Okay, go ahead. Look at that, eh? We've removed all the hangers for the muffler. We removed the brake lines. We have removed the fuel lines. And now what we got me down to is a bare shell. And this is the way they want it when we send it out for dipping. Eugene, this is your car. I know you bought it brand new, but now our job is to strip it down, make it brand new for you. And we've taken off practically every nut and bolt on this car. Bracket, clips, nuts, bolts. We got the leaf springs, we got the torsion bars off. We got the rear end. And now let's take off the front cross member. Okay, let's take off the front drum. I'll take off the nut from the upper ball joint. Drop it. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I give Devin all the heavy stuff.
There we go.
There we go. Hey, those drum brakes are not light, are they? And right now, I just got to remove the steering box before we take down the K-member. There we go. And this car is equipped with power steering. So in this case, the steering box is made of cast iron because it's a power steering unit. Okay. Here we go. If it was a manual steering car, it would be made out of aluminum. And in this case, it's cast iron, so it's power steering car. All right, let's take off the final piece, which is the K-member, which supports everything. The engine, suspension, the steering, everything. This is one vital piece that we need. So we gotta take it off with 4 major bolts, on 2 per side on each frame rail. You know, the Chryslers, they don't have a subframe in the front. It's a unibody construction car. And that is the reason why we have a K-member. It looks like a letter K. And right now we're just about to drop it. So we're just gonna get the impact, knock those 4 bolts out. every car came with a K-frame, and there were usually 3 different K-frames. The 6-cylinder was unique to itself on a 6-cylinder. Then you had the V8 cam member. From a 318 to a 446 pack was the K-frame, the same K-frame. Then of course a unique piece for the 426 Hemi of its own. So there you have it, 3 different K members. It's a 6-cylinder, V8, and a Hemi. Look at these gigantic bolts. We have 4 of these that hold up the whole suspension together on a K member. Devin, you got it? Yep. And there you have it. Put the bolt away. Okay. And then I'm going to raise the car a little bit. Hold the K member. Okay, you get your side. And then put on the floor. And just put on the floor. I got it. Yeah, there you go. You see the letter K? There you go. And there's a K-frame for a V8 609 Charger. One solid piece. It's a multiple pieces of metal welded together. Makes a very strong structure because this thing holds the engine up, suspension, and the steering. Look at it, one solid piece, no rust whatsoever. For sure this piece is gonna get dipped. You know, this car is so light, it's coming down the lift very, very slow. Let's take a look, right here. There we go. Mud wasp, check this out. We found so many of these in the car. Look at that. And this is the kind of insect you don't have up here because the weather's too cold up in Canada. But I guess this is what you see down in southern US. There you have it, Eugene. It's all gonna disappear on this car when we get it done. And you know, the only damage we have on the car is right here. Anyways, it's a solid piece. I spoke to Roger at the body shop that said that he's going to fix it for me. We are not going to replace it. We're going to use the same fenders. You know, Eugene did this on his own. He ran into his own little truck that he had that he was towing the Charger behind with a tow bar. The weld broke and let loose, and then when he slowed down, it crashed into the fender. So he ran into himself, but that's no big deal. It's a slight little dent. We're going to fix it. It's in a very difficult corner to fix, very difficult to get in there, but you know what? We want to keep the same fender, so we're going to make it new again when it's done. And by the way, I also want to mention something else. I removed all the wheel opening moldings. They have only had a few slight scratches, a few dings. So I'm going to see if I can have them repaired and put back the original genuine pieces back on the car, which belong right here. And they look like they're fairly good shape. So I'm gonna get someone to have them cleaned and polished for me to put back the same original pieces. They look good, they only have a couple of dings. Like right here is a little dink right here. But you know what, we can fix it. We're gonna fix them. And they look like in great shape. And there's a lot of other pieces that there's shields underneath the front inner fenders. We've marked everything down. We're gonna have them also sent out to get dipped with the car. Then I've saved the rear moldings on the rear back glass. I'm gonna get them polished also, just like the front glass. I've got some more braces here that go underneath the headlights in the back, splash shields, metals. The rubbers are gonna be replaced, but the metals here are going to be also dipped with the car. So I want everything to come back as good as new. Also the shields that are the what do you call it, openings for the front alignment to do the caster. These are also going to get dipped. So we're going to make a lot of pieces. We're going to send a lot of pieces to the shop to dip the car. So it's going to make my job a lot easier by when it comes back and everything's nice and clean. And every piece I'm going to send, I'm going to count every piece. For example, if there's 40 or 50 pieces, I'm going to mark down 50 pieces, for example. And when I go back and pick up the car, I want to make sure there are 50 items plus the car itself. I'm getting there, and you know, that's the easy part. The hard part is when you start cleaning pieces and trimming them, fixing them straight, and putting it together. This is the easy part. Stripping the car is a no-brainer. But then again, you don't want to break pieces. And another thing that you have to know is as you separate every piece, you want to know where it goes back together when the job is starting for assembly. There you go. One solid piece. Okay, so we got some rust here, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna clean it all up. And what I love about this, I want to see this thing painted yellow, just the way it came from the factory. Frame rails, they're solid. These are the inner fenders, which we're not gonna touch. They're perfectly in good shape. There's the sound deadening or undercoating. There's the hole for the cable for the antenna right here. The firewall looks very clean. Okay, we've got the rear taillights to remove, rear trim, rear bumper, and the backup lights. So we got the whole trim in the back to take off right now. So let's get going. Oh boy. You know what? Better tie this open. Hold on. This is falling down. The hinges are... Yeah, eh? Okay. It's held here. Perfect. We've got to remove the housing. We have a gasket that's really stuck on this right here, so I can remove the housing for the tail lights, which is not easy. Here we go. Wow, they're tight, eh? Who knows, you know, Eugene's been in the military all his life. We found a couple of bullets already in this car, and who knows, maybe we might find a grenade. So be careful, Vasily. It's not a gasket, this. Here we go. God, not a gasket. Somebody used a sealer on this. Wow. There we go. There's one genuine piece right here. You know, somebody that knows their 69 Charger 500s very well, send me an email watching our videos working on a Charger 500. He has sent me an email stating that if you remove the rear plastic cover in the trunk that covers the taillights, you're gonna find the word yes written on the left side, driver's side taillight housing. And you know, here it is. So what do you see? You see a Y-E-S if you look at it this way. Look at that. Is that unique or what? Who put it there? I'm sure somebody in the assembly line put it there, but what it stands for, I do not know. Why they would do it? Yes, I have the slightest idea. When the car goes down the assembly line, there's always kind of markings with different colors, chalk marks, crayons, or whatever, stating that that bolt is tightened or torqued down, or if something needed to be greased, they put some sort of a marking or a tag or something to tell you as it goes down the assembly line that it's done. So that's and for the reason why they wrote yes here, I have no idea. And it's only in the Charger 500s from what I know. And check this out. You want to talk about a car losing its balance on the lift? Watch this. This is why it's so important to have the car balanced on the lift. Watch this. All I did was lean on the trunk, and this is what was happening in the front end. Watch this. Look at that, you guys. Look at that. It's off the lift in the front. Look at that. There it is. There it is. You got it? Just put the bolts back, okay, Vasily? Watch your step. Watch your step behind. There we go. We got the bumper off. And we all know that when it comes to restoring cars, the first thing that we look at, or when you're looking to buy a car, if you're looking for rust, the first place to look for is underneath the trunk mat of a trunk. The reason why? Take a look right here. This is the worst spot in the car, right here. This is a plug, which is a body plug that goes in there, and it's rusted out. It fell out, and that is the reason. Like the weakest point on many Mopars is in the trunk, on the floor pan. But you know, in many cases, the water leaked into the trunk, and then it stayed on the platform between the floor mat and the you got it? Yeah. It stayed there, the water, and then it rusted away. So the only rust spot we have is right there in the trunk floor of this car. What we got there? You got a broken light in there? You see? Oh. What do we got in there? Oh. Oh, it's a broken light bulb.
No, it's a light bulb.
It's a light bulb. Come on. There it is.
Oh, this one's intact.
Yep. It looks like you busted another one in the past. Okay, there you have it. Yes. Y-E-S. Big plan. Are we gonna leave it there? What do you think? It's got fumed on with the second paint job. I mean, the paint job when they painted it burgundy. So these are supposed to be natural silver like this. But now it's got an overspray. I'm gonna try to save it. I'm gonna photograph it, but I really don't want to remove the original markings. Maybe I'll just not paint this area, clean every other part except for this area. Okay, we're gonna put the dollies on the car right now. So Evan, bring the piece that goes in the front, please. Vasily's gonna put it on. Then after that, I'm gonna put the rear dollies on. These are the dollies that belong to the shop. They're little mag wheels. They're air-filled tires, make it easier to push it. It's not a very heavy car right now. It doesn't weigh much. Stripped down practically to nothing on there except for the trunk lid. And after that, it's ready to be pushed around on its own dolly wheels. Yeah, we made these braces in-house. The wheels I bought from a hardware store, but the braces here, we made them in-house so that we can transfer the car back and forth without using the original suspension on the car. We're gonna use the 2 bolts that came off from the K-frame, which is a solid part of the frame rail. These are heavy-duty bolts, gonna hold up the weight of the car. So this is gonna do the job just fine. Okay. And now let's do the rear. And in the front, we're using the ones that you can steer. So when we push it, we can steer the body. And in the back, they're gonna be locked straight. There you go. And these are just a simple straight on. They're gonna bolt on where the leaf spring bolts right in the front. So Vasily's gonna put them up there, tie them down, and that's all it takes. 4 little wheels to move the car around. You know, we're bolting them on where there's the strong structure part of the car, just where the suspension bolts on. This way you know it's solid and it's going to do the job. So we're going to drop it, we're going to push it, and see it for the first time on its own dolly wheels. I can't wait to see this car dipped, let me tell you. After it's dipped, it's going to be shipped directly to the body shop, so it can start getting worked on. Body work, fixing up everything straight down the metal, and of course later painting it. So it's original white to yellow. Okay, let's drop it. Ready? Yeah. Here we go. I gotta see this. Yeah, they're greased already. Whoa. You see, there's vibration because it's very light. Look at that. And we still have the carpet to remove. And the insulation pad on the firewall. Do we have enough air in the tires?
Yeah, I filled them up.
That's it. Good stuff. They're not Gregors, but they'll do. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Is that easier or what, eh? Okay, now we just got to remove the carpet. This is glued on, eh? This is the firewall insulation. Of course, we're going to replace this. This is old. We're not using this anymore. We're going with new stuff. So now we're going to lift the carpet for the first time to see if we find any surprises under there. Yeah, you know, we found a couple of bullets, so who knows what we're going to find here next. Wow, check this out, eh? There's the gasket for the foot pedal. Here's the gasket for the foot pedal. Okay, here we go. Wow, check this rust out, eh? Okay, time to get rid of this carpet. Here's the front half. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Which way?
Take it on your side. Throw on the floor on your side. Well, no surprises here. Here it is. Here's the only damage on the car, besides the fender, the floor pan. That somebody used the jack in the wrong place to put the tires on just before transportation. There it is. Bang it down, fix it straight, but it's all solid. There you go. Original floor pan, and this is the way it's going to stay. Beautiful. Okay, let's take off the trunk lid and ready for shipping. Factory caulking, check this out. This is the way it was done. They just overlaid it between two joint metals. Look at that. This is the way it was done at the factory. Look at that. That's the firewall, that's the floor pan, and when there's a seam, they just fill it up with caulking and ready for delivery. All right, let's take off the trunk lid. Looks like these are custom made hinges, because from the factory they never use a bolt and a washer as two pieces. Now this could be from Creative Industries, I do not know. But anyways, we're gonna find out. We're gonna do our research on that. And in the meantime, our job is right now to strip it and get ready for stripping. That's right, this is the last piece to put off, last panel from the car. Here goes. I'm sure those are custom made hinges. Okay, next. All right. You know what? I'm gonna leave the hinges to get dipped with the car. So I'm not gonna touch those. And there you have it, you guys. We've stripped it down and we're ready to send it out for chemical or acid dipping to clean out the body straight, only with, come back with only clean metal and to start doing body work on it. Roger from Showtime Restoration is gonna do the body work and the paint on this car. And he's waiting for me to get this car dipped. He's asked me to strip it, dip it, and have it delivered to him as soon as I pick it up from the dipping shop. So I gotta plan this all together within a few days, because we gotta have to travel for 6 hours to drop it off and have it at the dipping, chemical dipping place. And then a week later I have to go back and pick it up and bring it back here and bring it to Roger's shop to get working on it. You know, every shop is so big, and no matter how big of a shop you get, there's always not enough space. So we're gonna have to move a few cars around, because now this is gonna be waiting for to be delivered for the chemical dipping. So I gotta wait for a week or so. I don't know. I got the other charger to deliver for the 1st of October, so I gotta bring this down, put her on the lift, and of course I gotta bring in the Belvedere to put on frame connectors, and I need it on the other lift. So I gotta move 3 cars at the moment, so I can get things done for starting tomorrow. And you guys, if you look down below the video, we have a whole bunch of merchandise that you guys can buy. So whatever you like, buy it, love it, wear it, and enjoy it. And help spread the word of Nick's Garage. And if you have some time, check out our Patreon page. We have extra content and you guys can watch it and take it from there. And we'll see you next time.